Do I look like a guy who drinks a lot of Monster Energy?
Talk about it.
Yeah.
So, I looked everywhere for Monster Cubed. Don't know what it is. Oof, just supposed to taste like, it smells like original Monster. It just tastes like original, but really strong.
So finally, the time has come where I can make a YouTube video about Monster Energy. Now, I don't have a lot of lore on this channel about my relationship with Monster Energy, but if anyone who is watching this from my real life social circle, they will know it's a bit of a thing that apparently I am very addicted to Monster Energy. And I always try and dispute this, but it seems to have stuck that people think I'm drinking like 2 cans a day. Definitely not, but I do want to talk about my own consumption of it. And I've been on the Monster Energy subreddit for a long time because I want to keep up to date with like the different flavors, posted my own stuff. You know, I've got Monster Energy from Japan, like those little mini cans. It's like Monster Energy cubed or something. I've got it from like Vietnam as well. I've got Japanese Monster in Vietnam. It's been discontinued. I've had Chinese Monster. Some would say in an alternative reality, I am the Monster connoisseur. Not the chicken connoisseur, I'm the Monster connoisseur. That was my YouTube calling. Now, there are actually, you know, YouTube channels that do review energy drinks. I don't think I'd actually be any good at that. But I did want to talk about the politics of Monster Energy without actually talking about, like, the company that owns it and, like, anything to do with that side of it. I want to talk about the culture, socio-political elements to it of people who drink Monster Energy. And all of that coming up for you today. But also, you know, follow me on social media if you want to keep up to date with me actually drinking Monster Energy, because, you know, I sometimes post myself drinking it on Instagram, personal, and my travel Instagram. Also, check me out on Threads and Blue Sky. And if you want to support the channel, please check out the Patreon. Trying to build up as many $1 to $3 patrons as possible, and you get access to the Discord server. Now, if you're someone who doesn't pay attention to Monster culture, let's call it, or even has, you know, a vague awareness of Monster beyond it being an energy drink, Monster historically has been associated with extreme sports, the same way Red Bull is. And in many extreme sports, be it Formula One or just some sort of like dangerous motor racing, you will probably have Monster Energy logos all over that car because they sponsor a lot of this stuff. You also will get it in the MMA. I remember one fight I watched one time, Conor McGregor got handed one after the game just to hold. And I was just saying, if that was me, I'd crack it and start drinking it right there. So yeah, that's kind of like the branding Monster Energy goes for traditionally. And that is what we're talking about mainly with, a black can of Monster Energy. You'll see it with athletes mainly, like fighters, skateboarders, people who ride motorcycles and stuff like that. So that's the bread and butter. And obviously, Monster has long been associated just casually with like skater culture. And I guess back in the day when I was growing up as a teenager, kind of like emo goth culture as well. And I actually had my first Monster Energy during this time. Red Bull was always the more popular one because you had those viral, like animated adverts in the UK. I say viral, like the internet wasn't a thing when they were running, but like, you've probably seen them. They've been long running in the UK, like these animated shorts about Red Bull giving you like angel wings and stuff. So I always felt like that was a traditional energy drink in the UK. And yeah, I think it's still a thing with skaters. If you've ever drank one of these, and I don't really like these, by the way, if you've ever drank one of these monsters, you will know it is quite a lot. Like, it's very sugary, like very acidic, obviously 200 milligrams of caffeine, like most energy drinks. It's not that pleasant to drink. I think if you have it with a lot of ice, and if you're, like young Kavernacle, it can make quite a nice mixer, although you should be careful. I would say it is a refined taste, and you can kind of understand how people who like it kind of gravitate towards each other, because most people who would drink this would say it's disgusting. And I actually have a lot of these in my house because every time I host a birthday celebration, people buy me Monster. But because most people don't know what one to buy, I just end up with loads of black ones, which I really only drink once in a blue moon. Now, what has happened with Monster culture in the last, let's say, 8 years is that they've been more focused on sugar-free variants. Now, I don't have one of these with me. White Monster Ultra has to be their most popular product. I have seen this all around the world. It wasn't in Thailand, largely because that is dominated by Red Bull, because Red Bull is a Thai company, and, Thai Red Bull is pretty nice. But in Vietnam and various other countries, I've seen just white Monster and original Monster. And the sugar-free ones have, like, basically no sugar, barely any calories. I'm looking at this one. It says 13 calories. So it's seen as something that isn't actually, like, that bad for you. And I don't know why the white one took off more than most. Like, I like this one out of the sugar-free ones the best. Ultra Fiesta Mango, which tastes like a Mango Loco Roco one without the sugar. And there's a whole host of like sugar-free options now. It's a very popular like offshoot of their originals. And you have stuff like this, which is full sugar. It's nice, like Aussie lemonade. It is a nice drink, but again, it's not something I'm going to chug much. Because yeah, it's so bad for you. Like, not that these are great for you anyway, but if you can eliminate all the sugar, again, it feels like something that people can tolerate more. And I guess I noticed it popping into the mainstream in my own life is back when I played football at like a higher level. Some guy shows up to the game drinking a white Monster. And I'm thinking, like, I would never do that because if you guys don't know, Monster has a shit ton of vitamins in it. They're vitamins you can't overdose on, but they're vitamins that it packs in there. And the only way to like pass them out is through, going to the bathroom. So if I have one of these on an empty stomach, I'm not going to be playing football much because I'm just going to be like pissing out that Monster for like the whole first half or something, right? So it is not a great idea to be drinking these on an empty stomach and drinking these like in quick succession because you're just going to be in the bathroom the whole time. And that's also because of the high caffeine content, but also because of the high B vitamins. But that is why Monster makes you feel good as well. It's not just the caffeine, it's the vitamins that give you that boost. So the white Monster has basically made a massive cultural impact. It's part of girl dinner. It's part of girl breakfast. You see so many people posting a white Monster and a cigarette, and they're like, that's my breakfast. So many people just chugging it non-stop because it also is, I have to say, the white one is very refreshing. But although there's a stereotype about a Kyle, a person who drinks Monster playing, I don't know, Minecraft or Counter-Strike or something, it is being mass consumed now. And the Monster culture, I think, is leaning more left-wing than you would think. So, of course, we're going to talk about the Israel-Palestine stuff in the Monster subreddit, but we're going to have to get to that a bit later because I want to give more of the context. So, I've seen this meme going viral a lot of times. This is on Twitter last month, Trans femmes who drink Monster, please confirm if this is true. Gosh, this is tasty. Whoa, I'm kind of hyper. And then you become trans, essentially. And this is actually one of the most upvoted posts on the Monster Energy subreddit itself. I think it's just like one of those meme things that, you know, it's a stereotype for trans women to basically be people who love Fallout New Vegas and drink white Monster all the time. I don't know why. I don't know what the link is there. I also think white Monster is just like a bit of a stereotype for women overworked in the capitalist hellscape, so that could be part of it as well. And also what's funny, if you just type white Monster into like Reddit, you just get funny posts like, this is in construction. Why does everyone drink nothing but the white Monster? Guys, I don't get it. I swear most of the time, the crews I'm working with drink more white Monster cans than water. Like, why not some other energy drink like Red Bull or Hell or even the green or blue Monster? Guys always have one can open in hand being sipped on till coffee, and another one ready in the overall back pocket for after lunch. What the heck am I missing out on? Most people saying, you know, it tastes nice, it's sugar-free. And there's other memes about it. Monster Energy drink has a $50 billion market cap. Caterpillar has a $103 billion market cap. One is single-handedly responsible for the ongoing construction of our American infrastructure. The other sells bulldozers. It's pretty funny. So I didn't know this was a thing, that construction workers are just drinking white Monster. Obviously, you know, in the UK, I'm picturing Red Bull, really, because I think that's just more popular. But that is, you know, something it feels like is fueling not just construction workers, but office workers as well. So apparently the US military is also being powered by white Monster as well. So I guess energy drinks and Monster have always like played into like counter culture a lot, but it just feels like with white Monster, it's just really broken into the mainstream, and we do have that ties with the LGBT community and women as well, which is probably not who they expected would drink a lot of Monster. But yeah, white Monster is an absolutely massive success for, you know, the Monster Energy company. Now, you see a lot of this posted in the Monster Energy subreddit, and as someone who has posted there myself, I'm not ashamed to admit it, I'm in the Monster Energy fan club. I've always found the place pretty respectful, pretty wholesome, to be honest, because, again, most people, it feels like, don't drink Monster Energy. They think you're weird if you drink it for some reason. They can't help but telling you how bad it is for you. So we find community online without judgment. Now, I do judge some people in there because some people are absolute freaks on this stuff, talking about drinking 3 a day, which I don't recommend. You know, I would say even drinking 1 a day, I wouldn't recommend. But yeah, some people are absolute demons on this stuff. And just, you know, most things in life, I've spoken about myself, moderation, please just don't drink Monster Energy every day. But the subreddit recently, even though it's a small community, erupted, I'd say, into civil war. But that would imply there's more like both sides going on. What happened is a lot of controversy got stirred up about Israel because an American who is visiting to Israel right now felt the need to come into the subreddit and post a picture of a monster assault, which is by far the most disgusting flavour, in Israel. And don't worry, he didn't forget to get the Israeli flag in there because, you know, this guy knew what he was doing, right? He knew he was going to provoke a reaction. And thankfully, in the Monster Energy community, most people gave him a reaction, maybe not the one he was looking for. But let's get into this controversy. Now I've kind of framed the politics of the Monster Energy community. So this guy, Monster Assault in Israel, haven't seen this flavour in the States, tastes like cola. You could just post a picture of Monster Assault. I don't think you had to say what country it is. People were just talking about the drink at first, saying Assault tastes like root beer and piss. Monster Assault in Israel sounds like a headline. You get someone trying to be nice to him, but then he shows his true colours like straight away, right? So someone coming in saying, you know, I don't blame all Israelis for what's happening, you know, whatever. But don't worry, this guy takes it to the level where everyone hates him straight away. So this guy says, ignore the rude comments here. I may support the people in Gaza, and I'm strongly against the actions of your country, but at least I'm mature enough to understand that the actions of the ruling class do not necessarily reflect the everyday citizenry. Enjoy that rare monster, bro. So someone trying to be like fairly diplomatic. I disagree with this comment in the sense that the elite in Israel are doing what the general population want them to do. They hate Netanyahu, but the leader of the opposition has literally said the exact same stuff. Throughout everything they've done to Gaza, like, they all support this. I've seen polling a couple months ago that it was like 95% of Israeli Jews. And even polling up until recently was overwhelmingly supportive. And this guy, remember, he isn't actually Israeli either. He goes on to clarify he's American. So he goes on to say, we sympathise with the people of Gaza, but we sympathise more with the hostages taken, including babies who've been held captive in Rafah for over 8 months. If they give back the hostages, the war can end immediately. Thanks for trying to understand other perspectives. And then straight away, thankfully, people come in, minus 98 downvotes. So yeah, the MonsterEnergy community reaching out a hand to this guy, who's trying to be provocative, by the way. I know he is. By then trotting out the tried and true hostages line. And just don't look up who has killed most of the hostages. It seems like the side that killed them really don't care about the lives of ordinary citizens if they can be used for political gain. And you get some more people swarming in to say some pretty awful shit. Thankfully, they're downvoted as well. And this is how you know he came in to provoke. Someone says, what's Israel? 45 upvotes. This guy says, the nation whose flag is flying high in the sky all across this part of town. Minus 50 downvotes. Never heard of her. 36 upvotes. So yeah, the MonsterEnergy community, at least on Reddit, firmly united in being against Israel. And then someone else posts Free Palestine. 53 upvotes. Someone writes Free Palestine from Hamas. Minus 32 downvotes. Someone asking, are you from Israel? I am a Jew visiting Israel from the USA, minus 23. So you're American, 38 upvotes. Yes, thank you for restating what I've shared. Make your point and don't hold back. I mean, the point is, I think it's pretty sick if you're not even from that country to be posting from that country to provoke a response because you know everything they've been doing is terrible. But again, you're not from there. You're just visiting. You could just say, you know, I found this. I found this monster assault. Or I just brought it back to America. I don't fucking know. But again, this guy wanted to spark a debate. So another guy says, I was in Israel in 2016 and got my hands on the old assault. It was amazing. Also, I hope the hostages are released soon and the terrorists get eradicated. Again, minus 12. And the guy who posted saying, bring them home now. Someone else saying, glad to see the Palestinians haven't destroyed Israel despite trying their hardest, like how they tried in Kuwait and Jordan, minus 42 downvotes. And responding to some of the criticism, this guy says, if Israel is a fascist ethno-state, a place where you can practice any religion openly or be gay openly, what would you call Islamic states? Hell. Minus 7 upvotes. Imagine coming into the MonsterEnergy community and thinking you can get away with this. But seriously, imagine being so sad that you're not even from Israel and you go into this energy drink subreddit to post about Israel so you can start debating people and saying all this gross Zionist shit they use to justify all the terrible atrocities they're doing right now. So remember this guy because he said something earlier, but keep this guy in mind because he complains later on that this sub is infested with racists. So he says, free Israel from Palestine already. So not even like free Palestine from Hamas. He's saying, just get rid of Palestine. Totally no problem saying that. Thankfully, he is getting downvoted. And then the thread got locked, of course, because, you know, mods will just do that. And someone writing, how is this political? He was just saying what country he's in. Unlock this damn post. I mean, it obviously is political if you're putting the national flag in a country that's doing something absolutely terrible right now. And then this guy says, racist pieces of trash, this subreddit, I swear to God. I say the only people being racist were the pro-Israel guys who showed up. He said, nah. And I said, you can go check the thread again. We can go check the thread of what he said. Free Israel from Palestine already. So this guy wrote that in the original post and is now complaining about the subreddit being overrun with racists. It feels like everything Israel supporters say is just like pure projection. Every single thing. Calling us racists. for not liking what he said. So thankfully some sanity in the subreddit as well. The comments were openly political, which in my opinion is a good thing. There's a limit to we're apolitical when events of that scale happen. I mean, the leading judges of the entire world said crimes against humanity. That's kind of important historical context. If I posted me holding a monster with the Confederate flag behind it, people would soon change their mind. So it was actually quite a nice thing to see. When you go to a subreddit like MonsterEnergy and you see a post like that, you don't really know what you're going to get. But thankfully, the comments were intelligent from obviously the pro-Palestinian side, while the pro-Israeli side were acting unhinged, and thankfully the MonsterEnergy subreddit community decided to downvote them and make them feel unwelcome for posting this absolute garbage. And as you saw there, even someone who disagreed with Israel was trying to like offer a hand and not blame the guy, but then he immediately started saying shit to start a fight, right? And that I think just summarizes like the difference between the pro-Israeli side in terms of like people who aren't from these countries and the pro-Palestinian side. Literally just like this victim complex, projection, and accusing everyone else of what they're guilty of, like racism in this instance. And yeah, I don't know what the point of this video is, but I just wanted to talk about like monster culture and monster politics overall, because I thought it was both interesting and the chance to talk about it, and obviously the chance to talk about, you know, how unhinged these pro-Israeli supporters often act, like all across the internet. And it, you know, the MonsterEnergy subreddit isn't safe. I just need to put this in here because I get so much comments from people I know telling me how bad Monster is for me because they think I drink it 24/7. Just for the record, the eternal record, I'm saying this on YouTube, I have about 2 energy drinks a week, and I have it on the weekend because I know they're not great for you, by the way, but I limit it to the weekend. Because the thing is, for me, I don't drink alcohol, right? I don't vape, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, I don't do most things. So to me, having a couple energy drinks on the weekend, maybe I'll even have 3 sometimes, I'm happy with that, right? And it's funny because most of the people who lecture me that it's terrible for me, they drink regularly, like not just at the weekend, they smoke. And also I'm someone who eats really healthy as well. So I don't mind, even if I was having 3 of them a week, I wouldn't give a shit either, right? But I have 3 sugar-free ones, and I've actually been switching up. I've been betraying Monster. I've been drinking C4s recently, the pre-workout drink instead. And also just for some recommendations, if you've been white Monster pilled, don't just stick there. You have to branch out. You have to branch out. Try Rehab, the tea one, which is one of my favorites. If you can still get it, try Monster Mule, the ginger beer one. And of course, just try the different flavors of Zero Energy. I feel like Monster Energy consumers get a bad rap. For some reason, we're demonized more than alcohol drinkers. For some reason. Again, the amount of times I've been told, like, drinking one of these is going to kill me. Because I don't drink alcohol, I might bring 2 of these to like a house party or something, right? And then people just can't help themselves but say shit to me all the time. I'm just so persecuted everywhere I go. You get those crazy religious types telling me this is like a demon drink or something like that. And all it really is it's powering American construction. It's powering the US military. Well, that's a bad thing. It's also powering the LGBT community, and it's powering the breakfast of women everywhere. And it might have some bad elements. The community around MonsterEnergy is a force for good. So that is it for the video. I hope you got a nice insight into the politics of MonsterEnergy. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.